In the morning of October 21st, the Seven Seas mariner arrived in Kusadasi, a resort town on Turkey's Aegean coast. Kusadasi caters to tourists arriving by land and at the port of cruise ship passengers heading to Ephesus, as we did. The city stands on a bay in the Aegean with the peninsula of Guversin Ada sticking out into the sea at one end and the mountain of Pilav Dagi behind. The area has been a center of art and culture since the earliest times and has been settled by many civilizations since being founded by the Leleges people in 3000 BC. In view the Ataturk statue atop the Kesi Hill. Just off the coast of the city is Pigeon Island, also known as Little Island, which is now connected to the mainland by a narrow causeway. A stone citadel was built on Pigeon Island during the Byzantine Empire. The Seven Seas mariner was scheduled to dock in Kusadasi at 2 in the afternoon, so during the morning Rosita relaxed, helping to solve a jigsaw puzzle while Ove went to check the casino. Views of the atrium and the elevators. The pool deck. Then it was time to disembark to take the buses for the shore excursions. Ove opted for the Ephesus and Terrace Houses tour, and Rosita went to visit the House of the Virgin Mary and the Ephesus Museum. Dating back to 1618, the club Caravanserai is situated just 330 feet from the Kusadai harbor. With a spacious courtyard, it preserves all its original Ottoman characteristics. A caravanserai is a roadside inn built to service the needs of caravans during their journeys. These are scattered along caravan routes all over Turkey. On the harbor's promenade, one can admire the Ataturk and Youth Monument as well as the Hand of Peace. This is the view we enjoyed from the bus window on our way from Kusadasi to Ephesus. Picture captured from the internet. This is one of the many water parks in the area. As we were getting close to Mary's house, the well-preserved Byzantine Selçuk castle atop the Ayasuluk hill came into sight. The House of the Virgin Mary is a Roman Catholic and Muslim shrine located on Mount Choressos in the vicinity of Ephesus, 7 kilometers from Selçuk. The house was discovered in the 19th century by following the descriptions in the reported visions of Blessed Anne Catherine Emmerich, a Roman Catholic nun and visionary. The Catholic pilgrims visit the house based on the belief that Mary, the mother of Jesus, was taken to this stone house by Saint John and lived there until her Assumption. Outside the shrine, there is a particular wishing wall which pilgrims have used by tying their personal intentions on paper or fabric. A water fountain or well is also located nearby, believed by some pilgrims to have miraculous powers of healing or fertility. After our visit to the House of the Virgin Mary, we started the bus ride to the Ephesus Museum, and on the way we stopped for a photo opportunity, and following are the pictures I managed to capture of the Ephesus archaeological site that Ove was visiting. The Odeon and State Agora. In this general view of the State Agora, one can see the ruins of the town hall, the open central area, and the Odeon. Built into the slope of the hill, the Odeon could seat 2,200 people. The Ephesus Museum displays excavations from the ancient city of Ephesus. The main highlights are two statues of the Ephesian Artemis, frescoes and mosaics. Tiberius and Livia. The head of Zeus. Statue of a resting warrior. The fountain Polio. The fountain of Emperor Trajan. The fountain of G. Lecanius Bassus. Fragments from a horse, possibly from a quadriga. Display dedicated to the Mother Goddess, dominated by two colossal statues of Artemis. One is called Beautiful Artemis and dates from the 1st century AD. The other one is Great Artemis from the 2nd century AD. Both Artemis statues feature rows of intriguing protuberances, which most scholars now think are bull testicles, but were previously thought to be breasts or eggs. Statue parts of Emperor Domitian. Statue parts of Emperor Augustus and Livia. Reliefs belonging to Parthian monument. Ephesus was an ancient Greek city and later a major Roman city on the west coast of Asia Minor near the present-day Selçuk in the Izmir province in Turkey. It was one of the 12 cities of the Ionian League during the classical Greek era. In the Roman period, Ephesus had a population of more than 250,000 in the 1st century BC, which also made it one of the largest cities in the Mediterranean world. The town was partially destroyed by an earthquake in 614 AD. The city's importance as a commercial center declined as the harbor was slowly silted up by the Cayster River. The Gospel of John may have been written here. Today's archaeological site lies 3 kilometers southwest of the town of Selçuk. The ruins of Ephesus are a favorite international and local tourist attraction, partly owing to their easy access from Adnan Menderes Airport via the port of Kusadasi. This is an aerial view of the Ephesus archaeological site Ove visited. The tour started at the southern end where the State Agora and the Odeon are located. It then proceeded northward towards the Fountain of Polio, then on to Corretes Street that leads to the terrace houses, then on to Marble Street that leads to the Great Theatre, and finally on to Harbor Street that leads to the Four Columns Monument.
And besides, it was all marble quarries around Ephesus, and a sculpture school originated. They made beautiful sculpture work and statues, sold them to all over the empire. So Ephesus became the capital of the Asiatic province of Rome and became the 3rd biggest city of the world. After Rome and Alexandria came after.
Next to the Odeon is the Bath of Varius, dating to the Roman period. The construction dates to the 2nd century AD. It is built of cut blocks of marble. It has 3 sections: cold water, warm water, and hot water. The excavations have not been yet completed. The Odeon was a small roofed theater constructed by Vedius Antonius and his wife Flavia, 2 wealthy citizens of Ephesus, around 150 AD. It was a small salon for plays and concerts, seating about 1,500 people. There were 22 stairs in the theater. The upper part of the theater was decorated with red granite pillars in the Corinthian style. The entrances were at both sides of the stage and reached by few steps. The Polio fountain was built in 97 AD by the rich Ephesian C.S. Polio and his family. The water was brought to the fountains of Ephesus from 3 main sources through aqueducts. It has a high arch facing the Temple of Domitian. It is known to be decorated with a number of statues. One of these statues is the head of Zeus, which is on display in the Ephesus Museum today. On Corretes Street. Built in around 104 AD, the Fountain of Trajan is a 2-story structure 12 meters in height and is one of the finest monuments in Ephesus. It was constructed in honor of Emperor Trajan, and the statue of Trajan stood in the central niche on the facade overlooking the pool. The pool of the fountain was surrounded by columns and statues. On the front facade there was a life-size statue of Trajan, of which only the right foot and a portion of the torso survived. Sculptures depicting Dionysus, Aphrodite, and the family of the emperor discovered here are now exhibited in the local museum. To the right on Corretes Street is the Temple of Hadrian, which dates from the 2nd century. The reliefs in the upper sections are casts, the originals being now exhibited in the Ephesus Archaeological Museum. The temple measures 7.2 by 5 meters. The facade of the temple has 4 Corinthian columns supporting a curved arch adorned in the middle by a relief of Tish, goddess of victory. The temple was depicted on the reverse of the Turkish 20 million lira and of the 20 new lira banknote of 2005-2009. On the hill almost opposite the Hadrian Temple and still on Couret's Street are the terrace houses, which show how the wealthy lived during the Roman period. There are 6 residential units and 3 terraces at the lower end of the slope of the Bulbul Mountain. The slope houses were used from the 1st century to 7th century AD and then were abandoned. Around this time, after the devastating Arab raids and the continued silting up of the harbor, the remaining inhabitants of Ephesus moved to Ayasuluk Hill near the Basilica of St. John. A number of the terrace houses were filled with soil from landslips, which preserved them and their contents. An expansive view of Marble Street from the advantage point of the terrace houses. The facade of the Library of Celsus has been carefully reconstructed from all original pieces. Built originally in 125 AD in memory of Tiberius Julius Celsus Polemenus, an ancient Greek who served as governor of Roman Asia 105-107 in the Roman Empire. Celsus paid for the construction of the library with his own personal wealth and is buried in a sarcophagus beneath it. The statues in the niches of the columns today are the copies of the originals that were taken to Vienna Ephesus Museum in 1910. The statues symbolize wisdom, courage, intelligence, and knowledge. These are the virtues of Celsus. Within a few centuries of its construction, a fire destroyed the reading room and the library fell into disuse. The gate with 3 passageways at the right of the Celsus library was built by the slaves Mazius and Mithridates for their emperor Augustus, who gave them their freedom. The passages are vaulted. The front side of the vault facing the Celsus library is made of black marble, while the other side is white. A Latin inscription with inlaid letters made of bronze is still visible on one side of the structure. The Great Theatre is located on the slope of Panayir Hill, opposite the Harbor Street. It was first constructed in the Hellenistic period, in the 3rd century, 281 BC, during the reign of Lysimachus, who may have chosen the building site and begun the preparation of the site, a process that required 60 years of digging in the mountainside. A three-storied stage building was 18 meters high. The facade was richly decorated with columns, reliefs, and statues. These enhanced the appearance of the stage, giving it a bigger, monumental look.